Hey, clean eaters. Today I'm going to talk to you about an awesome topic that just kind of gets me excited is sugar. Anybody think sugar rush here? Uh, it's kind of crazy to know that the average American actually consumes like 2 to 3 pounds of sugar every week, which is just absolutely crazy and mind blowing to me. So this is only because any sort of processed foods have so much different refined sugars. They have so many different names that you don't even realize it's sugar. And when you consume large amounts of sugar, not only is it detrimental to your waistline and makes you gain weight, but it also affects other parts of your body that you might not be aware of. So there's so many different hidden sugars in all the foods that you eat. So this is why it's really important to know their names and to read labels before you buy something and before you eat it. And this is why processed food is so bad for you because it has so many sugars among other chemicals. So making your own meals at home is definitely the healthiest option. So sugar is one thing that just turns to fat in your body. So more specifically, it turns to fat around your abdominal section. So you want to try to avoid it at all costs. Personally, I always try to put, I am a bit of a sugar addict myself. So my Shakeology has definitely helped me with this to reduce my cravings. But when I'm craving something sweet, I try to go for options like Splenda, maple syrup, honey, molasses. So things that are real and that are unprocessed. So one thing about sugar and weight gain is the glycemic index. And I'm sure that you've heard this term in the past. So this is basically a term that's used to describe food's effect on your blood glucose levels. And basically each food is given a specific rating, and the lower that rating is, the slower it takes for digestion to occur. So that sugar is actually gradually released into your bloodstream. So you don't get your sugar doesn't drop and you don't get hungry as quick. So if you have a food with a higher rating, it's going to cause your pancreas to release a hormone called insulin into your bloodstream. And this is because you have that high blood sugar. So the insulin tries to act and convert it and reduce the glucose levels. And basically it just stores it as fat to lower them. So the more sugar you eat, actually the more insulin is released into your bloodstream. And this promotes your fat storage, and this is how rapid weight gain can happen. And this is a lot of the process of diabetes also. So in order to avoid this process, you need to consume more complex carbohydrates because they are absorbed slower, and they don't cause a spike in insulin. And this is why I've been stressing that anytime that you eat a complex carbohydrate, which is a grain or a fruit, you always want to be eating a protein with it. And the reason for this, I mean, if you compare a carbohydrate, so a grain, a fruit and protein together, that's awesome, because what's going to happen is it's going to take longer for that food to digest, so you're not going to get hungry quite as quickly, which is awesome, and that obviously helps you to lose weight and not get hungry. So while we're talking about fruit, a lot of people think that fruit's good for you. So they might switch over to eating, like 6 or 7 fruits a day. But this is actually bad too. You want to stick with about 2 to 3. Because it still has sugar in it. And while this is natural sugar, and you need this in moderation, you don't want to be eating any more than probably 3 to 4 servings of fruit in a day. Because that could also help you to put on the pounds. Something else that's really interesting is that carrots are actually quite high in sugar. I'm not saying don't eat carrots, just eat them in moderation. I mean, as opposed to eating a whole bag of baby carrots, you might just want to have a small cup of them. Like I already said, make sure that you're eating protein and grains with your sugars. So this can be anything like nut butters, yogurt, cheese, anything like that. And just one last thing about sugar addiction and withdrawal. So like anything, if you're addicted to something, it is going to be a habit that you have to kick. And it is going to take a little bit of time, and it's going to take some willpower. So when we talk about sugar, refined sugar is not a food. It's actually a chemical. So when it's processed, the heating and the mechanical process basically causes all vitamins and minerals and proteins, fats and nutrients and vitamins. Everything's just gone and removed from it, leaving only the sugar. So this is what causes the habits and the addiction. And it's basically compared to a narcotic. So during the first couple weeks, when you remove sugar from your diet, you may experience withdrawal symptoms like with anything. So you may have headaches, irritability, mood swings, and of course, when you eat sugar, you may get that temporary high because it's an increase in energy, but it's not going to last very long, and it's going to be followed by a sugar crash. And you're going to want a nap, and you're going to feel horrible, and that's going to make you feel even sleepier than before. You actually even consume the sugar. So moral of the story is just try to stick with natural sugars, fruits, and try to reduce them if possible. Try to add more veggies, more proteins, and always consume it with a carb. So I hope this has been helpful. We're almost done our clean eating group. I hope this has been really beneficial for you, and I look forward to working with you guys again. Cheers.